This week I've got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I know a lot of other critics are really kind of hating on this movie right now, and I'm kind of asking myself why, because you know exactly what to expect when going into one of these Jurassic World movies. Like, ever since we got the first one, Jurassic Park, which absolutely stand out, right? Like, nothing compares to the original Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs and the graphics were amazing. It made you believe that dinosaurs could be real. And actually, I was rewatching The Lost World, and it's the second one, the sequel to the original, and I was like, oh, how did they go backwards in terms of the quality of the graphics? Like, the dinosaurs don't blend as well. But anyway, like, the first one is standout. I don't think anything can or will compare to it in terms of the inspiration it instilled in people. But, you know, the sequels, we kind of know what to expect. You go in wanting to see dinosaurs tear things apart, and that is exactly what you are going to get with this. We're back with Chris Pratt's Owen and Bryce Dallas Howard's Claire, who, thank God, this time does not run around in heels. Like, they make it almost overly clear that she's wearing practical boots, which is kind of silly. And the idea is that, you know, the Jurassic World theme park has been destroyed, and it's on a volcanic island that's going to erupt, and so they want to save the dinosaurs because they're the only dinosaurs remaining. And, you know, a lot of people have different stakes in it. The plot, kind of predictable. Like, from the very beginning, they telegraph a lot of things, and if you watch a lot of movies or whatever, you're going to pick up very quickly, like, who's a bad guy, who's a good guy. But the idea is that they introduce this character, Benjamin Lockwood, played by James Cromwell, who was supposed to have been John Hammond's partner in crime, you know, for creating the park, the original Jurassic Park in the beginning. And James Cromwell, I love. He's such an established actor, but he's doing this really bad Richard Attenborough impression. It's like, James Cromwell, you didn't have to have this, like, weird, almost British accent, but you're not doing it well. Like, it would have been fine. So he enlists, he has this kind of proxy played by Rafe Spall, who plays his character Eli Mills, and he's in charge of, you know, James Cromwell's billions of dollars, and they want to save the dinos because the government won't do anything. And I will say, the film's, mild spoiler, like, the film has Jeff Goldblum suddenly being anti-dinosaur, and you kind of get why. And my biggest complaint about this film is it needed more Jeff Goldblum, because he's been doing all the tour stuff in the promo, and he was barely in this. I'm like, I think he gave them one day of shooting and was like, guys, I got to wrap by noon and I get to keep the suit I'm in. And that was it. So be prepared. There's not going to be a ton of Jeff Goldblum, which is always sad to me because I do love him. So anyway, they send in this rescue mission to where the dinosaurs were being kept at Jurassic World. And of course, they have to put a team together to go save the dinosaurs. So they bring along Justice Smith, who plays Franklin, who's like an IT guy, because they need to get into the systems. And if you'll probably recognize him from Netflix's The Get Down. I think he's a great actor, but he kind of plays the stereotype of like, oh, nerdy, I don't belong here. And I'm like, can we retire that, like, please? And then Daniella Pineda plays Zia, who is a doctor and I guess a dino veterinarian? I'm not 100% sure, but she was great. I liked seeing two strong women in this film. Like, it's nice, you know, usually we get the one female protagonist, but this time we get two. And then Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs plays the kind of, like, you know, military ranger-y dude who's there to get them to the dinos. And the whole time, I was just sitting there thinking, like, it puts the lotion in the basket. Because his voice it's his voice, not his fault, but it's just so associated with Silence of the Lambs that I couldn't help thinking about it. There's some stuff that ensues. I'm not going to go too much into the plot because, you know, there's a couple twists and turns, but you might as well just enjoy them as they come. You'll probably be able to predict them pretty early. The dinosaur fights are great. I love dinosaur fights. I kept, like, sitting there being like, the T-Rex is coming, or the, like, you know, like, these are about to fight. Oh my God. It's exciting. I like the overall premise of the plot. I think it's actually probably where they wanted to go in Jurassic World 1. Once you see it, you might know what I'm talking about. And I think, you know, if they went super crazy with, like, the third one and really embraced what they set up at the end of the last one, like, I'd be all in, basically. It's directed by J.A. Bayona, who made A Monster Calls a couple of years ago, which is, bring tissues to that one. It is beautiful and heart-wrenching. And what I love is that he used practical effects in that movie, and there are actually a ton of practical effects in this one, which I think really, really helped with the believability of a lot of the dinosaurs. Like, there's one sequence that I was like, oh my God, they built a giant T-Rex. Like, they built the life-size T-Rex, which is what they did for the original Jurassic Park. And so there are definitely elements of it that call back to that. There are elements of it that call back to the other sequels, which, for better or for worse, whatever. There are a couple of very beautiful moments that I was like, oh, that's a J.A. Bayona moment. Like, that's when he was allowed to kind of break through whatever the studio was trying to set him up with and just have this gorgeous visual or this, you know, kind of touching moment. And usually it's mostly the dinosaurs and not the actors, but, you know, whatever. Going to this movie, It's a Jurassic World movie. It's a Jurassic Park movie. Like, and it's one of the sequels. It's not the original. You know what you're getting into. Like, I don't understand why people are so upset with it. Like, the dinosaur fights are exciting. They're nothing revelatory, but it's still, you get to see dinosaurs fight. Like, I always come out of a Jurassic Park movie being like, oh my God, I want a dinosaur so badly, even though it would probably rip my face off. So if you know what you're getting into, like, I think you're going to enjoy it anyway. I think people are just a little too, like, cranky about this. So I'm going to give it 3.7 out of 5.